Hello. Good morning, everyone. How is everyone on this Thursday morning? Beautiful Thursday morning. Sun shining. We haven't had a trade this week though. So could the day today be the day we catch something beautiful? Good morning. Okay, we just quickly get the chat set up, guys. Tell me if anything's too loud or because I've not long come back on and I'm testing all the settings. I don't know if I'm too loud in your ears or what. Are we on? We're on. Lovely jubbly. Right guys, welcome to the stream. We're back. I've started back up again on Monday. You're new to the stream. I streamed all last year. We had fantastic stats. I had a little break from streaming on YouTube and now we are back. Ready to go. Exactly the same again. So when I say I had a break from YouTube, I was still trading but just for our members in-house in our Discord. However, we're going to be streaming London on YouTube. Then we'll have special sessions for members only. Okay, so welcome to the stream. If you're new, do me a favour, drop us a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And let's go straight into it. Then we start off the session every morning with a top-down analysis. Right, so we do a full top-down analysis of the pairs we're going to trade and we just see what we can find from there. So like I say, this week we haven't actually caught anything this week. We did have a setup which missed us by about 5 to 10 pips. would have been a fantastic trade as well. However, I noticed this morning that that zone got tapped and then it's rejected and gone back to the upside. And that was this zone we actually had from Monday. We had a wing back buy from here. So wing back buy is basically a buy limit. So we actually had a wing back buy from around these levels, 19. Let me check where that is. 19629. Where's that? 19629. So yeah, we had a wing back buy here. If I actually deleted it because the 4 hour, but if we'd kept it on, that would have been absolutely fantastic. The issue we've got now is the daily's opened up and pushed up first, which is not the best for us. Ideally, what we wanted is this daily to open up, give us a bottom wick so we can look at buys above. So it's going to be difficult today again, I think. But let's do a fresh top-down analysis and we'll go from there. Okay, it's always good practice to do a top-down analysis, guys, because you're seeing the full picture again, you're reading the book again. Okay, so the pairs we trade, NAS 100, gold and oil for our swing trading. Let's get rid of that. Full top down on NAS 100. Okay, so now the way I trade is it's a Meraki. It's sort of my own method of trading, and it's from a number of different mentors, if you like, all come together. And I've called it Meraki. Okay. So it mainly goes off zones and what price does and how candles move. All you need to know really with this method is how candles move, how to identify zones, and how candles move in between zones. That's it really. Once you do that, it's just a case of building up the experience and you'll start seeing it. Okay, so what we'll go off first is the monthly candle had broke below this level at 19413. As you can see, we had a close below and a break of structure to the downside. Okay, we then got a close back into the area with this monthly candle. So now this whole move technically is a fake out to the upside. Yeah, sorry, it was a fake out to the downside, but now we've came back into the upside. So what does that tell us then? Well, does that mean now we need to come and break the highs again? Because have we got enough liquidity to get from here up to the next range? And what's going to tell us that is that this candle, what did it do? Did it break a low? And if it did break a low, then that means we've got liquidity to drive up, which we do have. We've got liquidity now to drive actually all the way up to the next range. However, is it going to happen on this monthly candle? Now, how many monthly candles did it take to get up last time? Well, it took quite a few. So there's the first break. So let's say this is this. We then had a bearish close. We then had a bullish, another bullish, bearish. Bear in mind, these are monthly candles, bullish, bullish. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles to get up to fill that range. Okay. So I'm not saying it's going to take 7 candles again, but the way I trade is I get all of my answers from previous data. I just look at what previous data is done, and unfortunately, this is the only area I've got this here to go because we're nearly all-time highs. So this is all I've got to go. So let's say, for example, that this close here is this one, right? What did the next monthly candle do? Well, it closed bearish, but where did the wicks go? Well, this wick to the upside came to here, and the downside came to here. So does that mean then that this monthly candle could potentially pull back to around 18643, or could reject from 2714? So we end up something up back down, and then we close bearish. And that would look something like this. Could we get something like that? And that's technically copying previous data. We could do, but it's only happened once. So normally when we're looking for patterns, we're looking for this to happen 3, 4, 5 times. And then, you know, our probability is pretty high, isn't it? So we know the monthly can do currently anything at the moment. It can still push down and it can still push up. But at the moment, we broke back into this range, so we should be heading up to fill the top of the range. Okay, so weekly candle then. So what's happened with the weekly candle? Now, the weekly candle, the next range on the weekly is here. And if you were on my streams on Monday, Tuesday, we identified that the weekly candle has closed, so the weekly range is that. The weekly candle will close but hasn't filled the range, so technically you've still got this to go off. You've got that and that to fill. Okay. Now I don't actually like it when the close has happened 50% of the range. So for example, what I mean by that is this is the range we're in. If the candle is closed over 50% of this range, then not to take it, because it's sort of my advantage point is pretty small now. If we're going off the weekly candle. However, that's why we were looking at a wing back buy from around these levels. And what we identified is when you close above here, you can tend to pull back. So when you close above here, so let's say we went off this one, you can pull back to these levels. So we actually had, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, we had a wing back buy from here. Now, if you look at this wing back buy, look at the position of an entry you would have got from that. Yes, I know I deleted it. I deleted it because the higher time frames, the lower time frames weren't lining up for us. And then in the night, it was about 7 o'clock in the night, the 4 would just drop through the floor, which I wasn't on the chart at that point. So we've missed the move, so it's not an issue. We move on to the next one. There's always another trade. But price has done exactly what we said it could potentially do. So now that move's played out, what could we be looking at next? How can we get in on the next trade? What are we expecting price to do? So what did this weekly candle do? So let's say this weekly candle closed small bullish. It didn't actually drive. Small bullish. Are we going to get that here? Or are we going to drive on this one and completely fill the range? So we've got, how many days we've got left? We've got Thursday, Friday. So for this weekly to flip and drive and fill the range, it means we would need today to be bullish, carry on, and then tomorrow again to be bullish, carry on, which is pretty doable, I would think. And that's all we would need from the weekly. So if that's the case, then could we not just look for buys? Yeah, we could just look for buys in and around these levels, because we're expecting this weekly to flip. How do we get in? What I was hoping for today is that this daily had closed bullish. I was hoping for this daily close bullish, and then when we got on the charts, I was hoping for this daily to give us a bottom wick. We could look for another potential wing back buy, and then take the flip. The issue we've got now is if price comes back down, I'm not sure I'd take this wing back buy, because we've already done the push to the upside. So we lose an advantage point, especially if we break this high. If we break this high and then we come back down, I definitely won't be taking it, because that is an advantage point. It means you've now got liquidity to come down and drive a bit further than expected. So it's a bit of a shitter, really, because I'm really hoping that daily would come down. Because if you look at these ones, right, so if we're saying we're on this level, this is the area where price looks similar, closed similar. and then price came down and tapped these levels, and this is where we got our wing back buy from. So prices came down and tapped these levels, but look how many times it taps 3 times down there. We've only tapped once, but the difference is these 2 other times were tapped, only small candles. Look at the push we've done now. So it's telling me that this is probably the move to the upside. Now what you might get is we could get something like this big bullish one, and then we had a bearish one come down. So could we look at a wing back buy here from 19726 from tomorrow? But that means then if we get that tomorrow, is the daily going to come down all the way there and then flip to the upside when the weekly is already flipping and it's already done its bottom wick on the weekly? So I'm not sure. If it is going to come down on the daily, I think then the weekly could potentially close bearish. So if we did get that, the weekly could close bearish, and then we've got to be careful because we're bearish on the weekly now. So we're just in a bit of a shitter range, guys, unfortunately, where it's just coincidence that I've started the streams and we're in a bit of a shit range. So it's really difficult here at the moment. There's not much I can really do because the daily's already sort of filled its range. We would need to wait for a closure, ideally above here on the daily. If we get a daily close above here, if we can get a daily, we're still going to look at smaller time frames though, so see if we can grab something. But if we get a daily close above here and we don't fill this range up to 24.2, you could potentially market execute or bottom wick and then buy stops above to come and fill the rest of the range. That's what we could look at. It's similar to what we wanted to see today, but we didn't get it, so we'd have to wait another day for that trade anyway. Okay, so a bit of a nightmare really on NAS. Now the thing what we had marked up as well yesterday would have worked out perfectly as well. So when we went down to the 1 hour, where were we at? So if you were on my stream yesterday, you would have seen that I said, right, I need a break of the highs. I think we were like this. We called it early on the stream. So we were something like this. I think we were next time. What time was that? Maybe the start of this. So it was something like this. And we had a zone, I believe, here. And we had cells below. I said, you take cells below only if we break the high. So I said what I wanted to see, I want to see a high broke, this one or this one, and then if price comes up, breaks a high, and then we get a 1 hour close below here. This is pretty clean traffic down. Where did we add it to? We had it definitely to here. If you watch my stream back from yesterday, this is what we wanted. Okay, so that's what we wanted to see, and look what happened. Get rid of these. Done exactly that, I believe. So next one, there's the break. See this? Broke the high, grab liquidity. Now I would have been saying, okay, now if we get a 1 hour close below this level, we look to come and sell in this range, and then look what happened. There's a 1 hour close. You're not over 50% the way, so you would have waited. Bang, look at that tap. Look at that tap. Exactly what we said yesterday. Now you might not have got in on this though, because you might have been thinking, okay, well I want a top wick. Okay, but we wouldn't know until on the day. But there's your top wick. Look at that, beautiful, beautiful trade. Actually came all the way through. So again, another trade missed, unfortunately. Okay, let's go from the lower time frames then. So we've got the daily sorted. We're waiting for a daily close. Above this level, what could we catch on a lower time frame? Again, it's going to be hard because we filled the range. So look, the 6 hours filled the range now. So there's nowhere to go on the 6 hour. We've got 4 hours the same. There's the range on the 4. We haven't got enough advantage point to take it. You've had a bearish close on the 3. It's a case of, are we going to close respecting to come back down? We could potentially grab some sells to come back down. But then we've got to say, okay, well, are we expecting this daily to come back down? We know it can do a bottom wick down to these levels. We know that. But if you look at the weekly, is the weekly going to come back to the downside when it's done all that drop? And now it's starting to flip to the upside. I'm not sure. I can probably see this weekly driving straight through, guys, to be honest with you. And I'm not really interested in just getting a buy stop above because I'm over 50%. You could potentially get a buy stop above because your next range is really the weeklies come and tap this, but it would be like a swing trade. So the weekly is this range. Let's have a look at this range. So there's the weekly range here, this level. And then where we come and tap is here. You do, but you can take ages to get up. I mean, these ones took a couple of weeks, but you can come and tap that level. So it's that's the next range where we're going to technically. So could we just get a buy stop on the other side? I don't know whether I would just put a buy stop on because we're over 50%. I think what I would want to see is the daily close above and then a bottom wick. For either a wing back buy or just to carry on. Now technically though, if you did put a buy stop on, you shouldn't be breaking this low. So your stops could just be there, but you're only looking at it. It's like probably just a 1-to-1. Because you won't be looking any further than that. That's what you'd be looking at, but I don't think that's for me, that, guys. I want to see what this daily does. Now, lower time frames are difficult because we've completely filled the range. We would have to wait for breakouts. But at this point, the daily's filled the range. Are we just going to consolidate on the lower time frames now? Because let's say the daily is going to close in around this level. Let's say it's either going to close. It's either going to close respecting or it's going to break out but not much. So for example, let's say it's either going to close respecting like that or it's going to close something like that, break out. We're already there. So does that mean we are just going to consolidate all day until it closes? Potentially, because we filled the range. Right, but if the daily was down here, say, then what are we expecting? We've got quite a lot of range to go to grab buys up because we're expecting this to flip and push to the upside. But now, because we filled the range, we've got a wall there. We need to know what price is going to do. And what we like in trading, we like big ranges. So let's say this is the range between here, here. We get a close above there, fantastic, because we know we've got loads of space to push up. But at the moment, we've hit the end of the track. We're hitting the end of the track. So could we just consolidate all day today? Potentially, yeah, potentially. Therefore, could we grab any trades on the lower time frame? You probably could, but you've got to be careful because the daily could just close respecting at any point. Well, tonight. But we could just see a consolidation today. So a bit of a shitter really, guys, unfortunately. I was so hoping that daily would give us a bottom wick for the flip. Would have been fantastic. And this is the thing with trading, guys. So if you're new to trading, You don't need to be in a trade every day. You might think you do, and a lot of people think they need to be in a trade. If they're not in a trade, they're not learning anything, and that's not true. At the start, yes, you want to be in loads of trades, you want to learn, make mistakes and things like that on a demo account. But when you start getting sort of the break-even stage, you still feel like you're not learning anything, and you need to push through that break-even stage by being in a trade. That's not true, okay? You're actually learning loads by not being in a trade and being able to walk away from the charts. Because you're creating discipline in yourself, creating discipline. So yeah, I'm not really liking NAS, guys, unfortunately. I mean, it took a few days to get up here. So if we can get that daily close above, I want that daily close above that. So if we get that daily close above that, like that. So I'm looking at this. There's the daily close. We're looking at this. And we're looking at this. So, and then we're looking at this. So, if we look at every time the daily is closed above 2135, what has happened to price? Well, we know this one closed and then we pushed all the way and tapped 2742. This one closed and tapped around 2488. This one closed and tapped around 2742. This one closed and the next daily tapped around 2429. Okay, so this is what we do now. We know that when the daily closes above here, every time it pushes to at least the lowest one, which is here. So we know it pushes to 2329. 100% of the time, when the daily closes above 2131, 100% of the time, it comes and taps 2329. So, probability wise, because that's all trading is, guys, probability. Nobody knows where the market's going to go. It's just probability. What has price done previously? Because it tends to do the same. Not always. It can create new structures and new ranges. And unfortunately, we just can't preempt them. But if we go off probabilities, 100% of the time, if a daily closes above here, we push 2329. So if you had to put a bet on where the daily's going to go after a close above, what are you going to put a bet on? You're going to put a bet on that's going to 2329. And that's how we get our setups. That is it. Obviously, this is on a daily time frame. You do exactly the same on a 1 hour, 4 hour, even 5 minutes if you want. Last year, I was trading down to 5 minutes with Meraki. So that's what I would like to see. If I can get an hour close above here, we'll be looking at a buy stops. And probably we don't need much pullbacks because this didn't give you much pullback. This did give you a bit of a pullback, but we closed higher up. No pullback, straight through. So if we close on the hourly above on the daily 2106 tonight, then I'll be market execute to 2329, and my full TP would be here 27.4, because that's the next range and we can reject from and come back down. Okay, so this is an area we would take partial move to break even at 23.33, and then our TP would be 27.32. Okay, I'm going to leave these on for you. Actually, we'll come back at it tomorrow. Now you're probably asking, where would you put stops? Let me get the chat up in case anyone's asking questions. If you do have any questions, guys, just drop them in the chat. If you can drop us a like, subscribe to the channel, please. It really helps with the algorithms. So, if we know, probability-wise, 100% of the time, when the daily closes above 2131, we push through to 2329. That pushes through, okay? Then you're going to be trading, aren't you? You're going to be trading for buys to the upside. Now, where do we put stops? Here's the question. So, what I would normally do with stops is my stops have been getting tighter. Last year I was having like 100 plus stops to grab 20 pips. Okay, so I do trade negative RR, but now, because we've advanced a lot, we've introduced wing back buys, wing back sells, and things like that. Because I've advanced, my stops can be wherever I read charts. So sometimes my stops can be really tight. We had a fantastic trade the week before we started streaming, where my stop, it was like a 8-1 that played out. Yeah, so it stops it literally just how the charts show me where I need to put stops. So how would we work out stops then? So let's pretend we've had that daily close above. Let's close perfectly for us. How do I work out stops? Well, we look off previous data. What has price done before driving up to tap that? Okay, that's what we've got to look at. So where do we look? So there's let me zoom in for you. So we'll look at the first one. So the first daily closed above. How far did this pull back? Well, it pulled back to here. So we would then need to have stop below there. At the moment, it's not confirmed yet because we're going to check the others. So we know if we have stops there, previous data in the past hasn't stopped us out. There, we could have it pretty tight. It didn't stop us out, right? So let's have a look at the others. Okay, so here's one. So you had your daily close above there, and then we pull back to here. So again, that wouldn't stop you out. Okay. However, what I would do is, what I've noticed is, price comes up, rejects, and then goes. So if you do have another zone like this where price tends to come, if you just want to be a bit safe, right? Because you now know that these are zones, you could just go, okay, well, if we put stops there, I could look at a potential second entry for a wing back buy here if you wanted to. Okay, if you wanted to. But let's keep it simple because this came down after it tapped here. So are we saying that you cannot come down there without tapping this? Okay, so we'll keep it simple. So stops are going to be here. We know the pullback shouldn't tap it. Here's the next daily close. Here, again, we didn't come down. So, if I zoom out, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 times where price on the daily has closed above and drove straight through to 23.39. And the next candle can pull back but doesn't break 20.067 before coming up to tap. Therefore, that's where I've identified my stops could potentially be once the daily closes above. Does that make sense, guys? And so at that point, you would be looking, let's say the daily does close like that. It would be, this trade technically would be just shy of a 5-1 off the daily. Okay. Happy with that? So, yeah, again, probably no trade for me today. But you know what, and that's the thing with trading, what we're doing. Everything I've done this week, if you watch the streams back from the other day, we could have had a fantastic wing back buy, right? We would be in from here if we kept it on. And stops on this were pretty tight as well, from what I remember. But we could be in a fantastic wing back buy. Okay. We also could have took the 1 hour, like I explained earlier. So we also could have took this 1 hour down to, I believe we had it there as a risk-free, but you would have come to that. So you also could have took that. And at that point, stops on this, you only would have went the high. So technically a 1-1 on that one. Okay. But have you noticed that these are trades what we had marked up, but price didn't quite come for us, didn't tap it. It missed us by so many pips or whatever. And the point I'm trying to make in this is you have to set up your ambushes. It's like an ambush. You set up your ambush and then you've got to wait for price to come to you. So my ambush is I want the daily to close above here. If it closes above there, might not. But if it does, I'm setting my ambush up. I'm getting a buy stop above that next daily to come up, hit that zone. This daily might close respected and absolutely bomb through the floor, okay, and not get activated. So unfortunately, that's just what trading is. You've got to wait for price. Never ever get in if you've missed a trade as well, and it's already gone. You've just got to be disciplined and patient. It's the hardest thing, but it's so important. That tips the scales into being profitable. Okay, because you've got to image profitability and non-profitability. It's on a scales. You've got a little. It's on a scales. Even when you might be profitable for a month, 2, 3, 4 months, we can always tip back to not profitable just by the way you're trading. Okay, so it's all about it might be that one little missing piece of the jigsaw what does that tip to profitability. So yeah, that's my ambush for tonight. Yeah, that's all I've got on NAS, guys. Unfortunately, if you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. I hope that makes sense to you. I don't even know how many's on the stream. If anyone, I could be talking to myself right now. Oh, nice. Welcome, guys. Drop us a like, subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. Be much appreciated. Okay, so let's have a look at gold, because I know probably a lot of you will be trading gold, and I traded gold last year. It was my only pair really what I traded. But the issue I had with gold, I fell out of it and we got a divorce because it started making all-time highs. And how do I trade? Well, I trade off probabilities and I go off previous data. And the issue I've got is when we are all-time highs, I've got no data to go off, so it made it very difficult on gold. However, I say that a couple of weeks ago I did grab a fantastic Meraki trade on it. Okay, so let's do a top down on gold. Let's see what's going on. This. So the top down on gold is literally a rocket. Absolute rockets, absolutely flying to the upside, and it doesn't look like it's calming down. So, and with news and everything what's going on, it's probably going to keep pushing. Now, we actually had 2 setups on gold where we could still be in this now for buys to the upside, and again it missed us. It flew off. It didn't pull back. So we're very bullish on the monthly. We've had no bearish closes yet, in and around where price is now. On the weekly, we have had 2 bearish weekly closes, but you've got to look at what gold does. So just because you've closed 2 weekly bearish closes doesn't mean price is going to flip to the downside and start bombing down. Okay, if we look at previous data, you know, you had 2 bearish closes, or 3 bearish closes there. If we got rid of that, what would you be thinking? A lot of people would be thinking, oh, this is the change. You broke some lows, chock and all that type of stuff. If you're into all that type of stuff, I like to proper simplify my trading. So yeah, you'd think, okay, you're coming back down, and then what did price do from there? Well, just started coming back up. Okay, so it doesn't actually mean price is going to be coming down at the moment. What I like to see to show reversal, I actually like 2 breaks of structure. So what I mean by that, you've had this move, that's now a structure, and I'd like price to come back up, break that structure, come back up, and then break another one. If I get 1, 2 breaks of structure, that's on a higher time frame, like a daily or even a weekly, that tells me that price is starting to reverse at this point. Okay, because when it breaks out to the downside once, what you tend to get, the first breakout to the downside tends to be fake outs. That's where you get your fake outs, and all that's doing is it's getting all the retail traders, people like us, we're just getting in thinking price is changing, and that's exactly what I've done. So you had a range here, price broke to the downside, loads of people be selling, oh, this is a change, it's going to drop because we've been so high. Yeah, and then price just absolutely bombs back through the roof. Yeah, it happened again here, exactly the same. So you had break structure to the downside, and then fake out, gone. The thing with gold, it's very aggressive in regards to coming back into the zone. So there's your fake out, back in. And look, doesn't pull back, just absolutely goes. You've got no chance of getting out or getting extra entries on to get out. And I know this because we were waiting for a daily close back in. But this daily had filled my range too much. So we had, if the daily closes back above here, we were looking to get in for buys. But the issue we had is it closed over 50%, so we wanted a bottom wick. We didn't get the bottom wick. The price just went through the roof, so we missed the move. Exactly the same on this one. This is the range we're in. Actually, it didn't go over 50%, but still, we didn't even have a chance to get in. As soon as 10 o'clock came last night, price just bombed through the roof. So unfortunately, we just can't get in on them. So we've just got to wait. And stuff like this can really frustrate you, because you could be waiting days for a trade, and then you'll get the point. Thursday, Friday comes, you're like, I've had no trade, I'm getting something to do. And then you'll place a stupid trade, you'll take a loss, you'll get pissed off, you then revenge trade and take another one, or you over leverage. Big bruise gold now. You over leverage, and then you lose that one, and before you know it, you're on this spiral effect to the downside where you're just blowing accounts. So you've just got to be disciplined, guys. So at the moment, what can we do with gold then? What can we do with gold? Well, these are the daily ranges, okay? This is the daily range. Now, what is interesting to see is we did close respecting. And we know we've closed respecting there now, because even if we closed above, we've now had a fake out back into the area. So we have closed back into the range, which is pretty nice, really, because what you'll find with gold is when you get this fake out, you tend to then bomb past all-time highs. Again, there's the fake out, bomb straight past. We didn't close respecting here like we have now. So this is a good sign for gold. But like I said, what I would need to see is price close again back below these levels. But also, if I can get a close below this as well, I'd be interested in taking sells from 3236 to come down. And also, there's loads of reasons to come down. Why is the reasons to come down? Well, if we close below this, so this is the first range, right? So when you get a break to the down, let's say we're bullish, and then you get a break to the downside, you tend to get your fake outs here. So we break and then come back into the area and then bomb all-time highs. That's what gold, which I've just explained. First breakout, bomb all-time highs. Okay, so that would be the first breakout of the range, the first range. That one. You've then got a minor range, and now this is a minor range. And the reason it's minor is because there's only one point of interest where it taps. There's only this. What's creating it? You've got a little rejection here, but still I would say this is a minor range. But I would still class it as a zone. So if price can break below this level, I'd be interested to take sells to come down. And then you've got to say to yourself, well, has it got any reasons to come down? What are the reasons to come down? Well, in here, we've got loads of fair value gaps. Got loads of fair value gaps. You've also got a gap there. Now, if you've been trading a while, what you'll find is when you've got gaps in price, price tends to come back to that area at some point. Not straight away, but at some point it tends to come back to that area. So could we see price coming to at least these levels if we get a break below? Well, we could do. So if it's coming just for that gap, could we have that as our advantage point? We could do. You've also got fair value gaps here. Okay, there's all sorts to the downside. Pretty clean traffic, straight down, which is nice. But would we have that as our advantage point? So what I mean by advantage point is something where if you break below point, where do you need to push even if you're going to reject and go the opposite way? Well, if we get a daily close, let's say we come down like this. Might not happen today. Might happen next week. Let's say we get a close like that. Let's say we get a close like that. And obviously every candle's got a wick. But the wick hasn't broke a low. Let's say we come down like that. Where's the money to the downside? Where's the money? That's what you got to say. Where is the money? Well, the money is going to be, you think if you were in buys round here, where would you have your stops? Your stops would be below this low, the only low. So that means if you're saying, well, I would have my stops here, that means loads of other people would have the stops there. That means there's loads of money here. Okay? Now for the daily to close like that, but doesn't break a low, there's only one reason the daily's closing into that zone. What could it be? Well, it's because it needs to break this low to grab liquidity. Therefore, we know that if you get a daily close below that, it's really, really high probability that you're going to have to break this low here. You're going to have to break that. So, what can we do at this point? Well, we know we need to break that. After that, we don't know what's going to happen. So that's where we go risk-free. That's where we go. Take partial if you want. But that's where I would go risk-free. So you'd open. New candle, top wick. Down. We'll go risk-free. We'll take some partial. Anything else is a bonus. And then you could have your TP down at the bottom of the next range if you wanted to. Covering all of this. But that's how I trade. I look at the first advantage point. And then I go risk-free. The way I look at trading, guys, it's like running into no man's land. Yeah, the more you run in, eventually you're going to get shot. I don't take many trades. I have such a high win rate because I take the risk off the table quickly. And I get stopped out at break even a bit, but it just depends on what price you show me. So that's what I would really like to see on gold. Now, if we're expecting something like this, could we not just sell down to cover these ranges? Could we not sell down? Are we going to come down? Well, we know what the monthly was like, and we know the weekly closed bearish, which is fantastic for us, right? But we are bullish on this weekly currently. Could this weekly flip in 2 days' time? So in the space of 2 days, could it flip? So for us to get that daily close below these levels, we would need today's daily candle to push down, and then the next daily close like that in order for the weekly to flip bearish to the downside. Could we get that? Potentially. I thought someone was on. Morning Dan, morning Andre. Thought he heard something. Can you hear me? Hello? There you go. I can't hear you if you're talking. Strange. So, could we expect the daily to push further down? Potentially. The issue we've got is we've got a minor range here which we haven't broke below. So this daily hasn't broke below yet. Could we get a daily close below tonight and then take sells down? Yeah, we probably could. I would probably like that. So that might be a good one. Let's have a look at the 6 hour. If this 6 hour can close something like this, and then I get a top wick, you could potentially get sells underneath as well. Are you there, Andre?
Can you hear me, Pete?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, okay. I thought it wasn't working. I thought, what have I done now? Because what you find is when you're streaming, something just randomly doesn't work that day. Randomly. You haven't changed anything, but just randomly doesn't work.
Yeah. I could hear you, but...
right.
And I think it was something like...
Yeah. No worries, man. So 4 hour, could we look at the 4 hour? So where's the forward zone? Let's get the Meraki on. Meraki just moves the zone, so let's mark up ourselves. So if we got a 4 hour break below this, that means we're back into this range, and we're doing exactly the same thing, guys. So every time the forward closes below 3347, what happens to price? That's all we're doing. So this is a tough one because this is a gap to the downside. But the issue we've got is we've got no data to go off. And this is what's difficult with gold at the minute. We've got no data to go off. But what we could do is look at these levels and go, okay, when we've rejected from here, where has price gone next? Well, look, it comes through. So if the forward closes below, could we then say to ourselves, it's risky, but if we wait for a top wick, is that yours? Is someone repeating? I think it's you, Dan. I think you're repeating. Have you got me on YouTube or something?
Who? Me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, you're just on Discord. Me.
All right. So if we got a forward close below, what I would want to see, would I need to see it? We broke a high, so do we need to see the steep top wick? Probably not. But I'd like one. Then we know the daily could carry on to the downside if it wants to, but the weekly's bullish. Where's this weekly going to close? It's the only thing what I'm a bit wary of. I think I would probably want to wait for the daily to close below here and then a top wick. Daily's sort of at a minor range now. Yeah. Which is the 4 and the 6. Okay, this is what I could potentially take. If the forward closes below 3346, I would need a top wick. And I'd need a top wick to here. So I'd need a pullback to 3356. So for example, we close like this, the new 4 opens up, top wick, and then and only then would I look at sell stops underneath to come down to fill the range. There's no point going down the lower time frames. You would need that forward break really. I mean, the 2 is closing the range nicely. Would this flip from here? Well, don't think it's going to flip unless the 4 closes, which is another hour time. So that'll be 10 o'clock. Three's got another hour. So everything closes. 3, 2, 1. Honest, you've had the 1, you've had the 2. This 4 could technically. Nah, I need a forward close, guys, because you've had such a pushing candle here. Is this 4 going to be the one what just closes in? Or is this going to drop? I can't really see it. I think I would need a forward close. So we might have some sells on this, to be honest with you. As long as price does what we want it to do. Forward close below, top wick, and then we get sell stops on to the downside. That's what I'd be after. But I've got to have that top wick. We'll do sells below. Closure in 1 hour's time. And then we need a pullback. Yeah. But we're only targeting this though, guys, 32883. So it's the only place we're targeting. This, like that. Yeah, so that's gold. Any questions on gold? Either drop it in the chat. Yeah, lovely. Right, let's do a quick on oil and then we'll test the nailer down there. See what the nail is like. It would have had a double loss yesterday, I believe.
Morning. Did someone just say double loss yesterday? Yes. Yes, I did have a double loss.
Did you take it? I didn't take it, mate. I didn't take it, John. Ooh, look at oil.
Yeah, well, you're a lucky little devil you are.
Okay, and let me just do a quick top down on oil, John, and then we can talk about Naylor.
Who
So-
is it?
Oil, guys, right? So what we're expecting. The weekly hasn't pulled back to my zone yet. I want the weekly to come and tap this level. Oh, actually, could this be enough for a flip? You've had a daily bearish close now. Back to the downside. You've got 2 candles with no bottom wave. We either looking at another daily close below 57.14 for sells down, or daily close above 61.23. Because we're on Tuesday. That means we will get. Yeah, that's what we're after really. We can go either way at the moment. And we've had that bearish daily and we broke a high. If we get another daily close like this, that would probably confirm that the weekly, it might not flip because there's a big gap there, but still you're going to be respecting this level. And if we're respecting this level, you're technically into a nest play then, but off the weekly time frame. So that should confirm that you should be coming down to fill this range of 4488, which, yeah, I was hoping we'd come back up really. But we'll see. So yeah, we've got options on oil, but at the moment we're still just waiting on it. That's it for oil. Lovely jubbly. What have we got? NAS. Let's have a look at the nailer there, see what the nailer's going to do. That'll be in 3 minutes. Yeah, I seen it yesterday. I've stopped taking them, but I've been tracking them still on the nailer. Did you take that then, John, yesterday?
Taking the trades?
I've stopped taking them, yeah. I've just keep tracking them and keep adjusting and seeing how we
It's
get
funny
on.
actually, because I was actually debating it myself. I was debating on stopping it myself just because it's, I don't know, it's just all this fucking news stuff. It's still affecting the market.
Yeah. Well, it's just so... It's Trump and China, what's going on really. What's affecting things. But it's just... Yeah. One of the things. I'm just gonna still track him for this full year, really. And see where we at.
I mean, I don't know whether to carry on really, because I'm now fucking... What, like, I think like $700 down on my trust fund? Something like that.
Well, put it this way, you do a good run.
Yeah.
Would you a good run?
That's what I've been telling myself, mate.
Yeah.
But I don't know, sometimes I just feel like be bothered. It's like, is it for me? I want it to be for me. I want it to work. But it's just like, when JJ's is going so well, and this just, I never seem to fucking, get close. Well, I mean, I know I got close for passing the challenge several weeks ago, but it was just, bomb tickled, and then that was it, gone. It's back down to the negative.
Yeah. Only you could make that decision, mate. Only you, John.
Like I say, I don't want to quit. I really don't. Like, I know there's there's huge potential there, but it's just, I mean, for me, I can see this fucking room, like, just, I don't know what to make of this, because on the weekly, it looks like it's getting ready to flip, but at the same time, on all the other fucking time frames, it looks like you were going to get double top.
Yeah. Well, Nas is, I mean, I don't know if you were on, Andre, when I was talking about the wing backs. Just missed our wing. Well, it actually came down eventually, but obviously we had deleted the trade ID at that point because the 4 hour just popped down. And then the 1 hour from yesterday, I believe, it done exactly what I said. I didn't take it, mind. Where were we at? What did I want to say? It was this here. So my blue box is Asian session. So we said here we need a break of the highs, and then I would look at sells below this. So there was the break of the high, and there was the hour close below. You didn't have much of a top wick, so whether you would have waited and missed it or what, but you did just bomb straight through to that zone. And look how it tapped that zone perfectly. So I had this marked up. Literally tapped and reject. Look at that. That's beautiful. So yeah, we've missed two beautiful trades today. This week, unfortunately. But that's just trading. I don't know whether I would take that on the nailer, guys. It's a bit doji, that for me.
Exactly the same. It looks very doji, doesn't it?
I'll put that down as a doji. We'll wait for the next one. So yeah,
this one will be the one where I decide not to take it, but it'll rip straight down into my TP, won't it? You watch.
Well, you go off the body, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Just this week has just been gone a bit dead. Last week and the week before was fantastic for trading. What is oil gonna do? That is the question. That daily's surprised me, really. Oh, that daily's closed. It's closed back below this level. So could you just see a flip on the daily? Potentially, but the weekly still. The weekly hasn't closed yet. If the weekly closes bullish, this is where the gap puts you off, because if you close there and then the weekly closes there, technically it would be doji. It's tough when there's no setup slide.
I'll tell you something that I was tempted to have a look at is obviously that new AI thing that
the Holy Grail Assistant.
Yeah, that looked interesting, because my biggest bugbear with Sarah's trading strategy is, for me, it's just too overwhelming. Whereas,
it's not every strategy is different for every people.
To kind of like guide you at the same time, then it'll obviously make it a lot easier, and I think you'd understand it a lot more.
Yeah. Not every. There's not one strategy for everyone. It's impossible. So you just got to find what's right for you. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means it doesn't work for you.
Yeah, I know.
You just got to find what works for you, really. In Meraki, well, to be honest, our first got, I wouldn't say profitable, but when I first passed challenges on the OB strategy. But I found that what I didn't like is when I was placing trades and everything, if all my boxes were ticked. So my divergence, breakout, two breaks of structure, perfect OB, everything was perfect. News, strength indicator, everything was tick, 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 tick. And then the trade still didn't play out. I used to think, well, everything was ticked. It still didn't play out. I couldn't get my head around
with that
why.
Strategy is that there was so much that went into it, and so much like sort of grind and confluence to say, okay, let's take the trade. I can imagine it being quite infuriating when it didn't play out.
But with Meraki now, I sort of know that why.
It's straightforward, isn't it?
I can always look and go, okay, why? Well, I should have waited for more liquidity to the upside, or I can always see a reason why It might not have played out.
I'll tell you something as well. If this does flip now, this was the reason why the trade didn't play out yesterday. Is because if there's one thing that puts me off about this strategy, is if the candle closes and it just immediately pushes one way and doesn't like sort of pull back first and then push. You know what I mean? Like if it just pushes one way straight away and then doesn't reach your TP, chances are it's a liquidity grab to flip the other way.
Well, to be honest with you, mate,
which is what happened yesterday. Like it just pumped one way. I put the trade on. It pumped one way. It went 75% of the way, and then it just flipped the other way, hit the stop loss, and then the other trade triggered, and then it just come back down again. And it's like great.
I think with the nailer, I think you need to have a clean traffic range. So the daily's hitting a support there. Yesterday, daily was hitting a support. And it already filled the range, and that's why we tend to get the issues with it. Is when you so now we've filled the range. Look at the daily; it's filled the range. So I can see it's just consolidating today. I can see it's just doing this all day, not doing much. This is why I've got no setups, because every time frame is closing at this support level. But it doesn't mean it's going to drive down, because the daily needs to close. So therefore today is probably going to be a consolidation. We could have grabbed trades this morning, which we had marked up yesterday, if we woke up and we had a bottom wick off this daily. Easy. We know we need to fill the range. But it's opened up and just bombed up. Like, I mean, when we got on the charts this morning, you were already up here. Look, you're already here. Nothing you can do. We missed the move. So I can actually see it's just consolidating today. I don't know. I don't think we'll do much, but I might be wrong. But I can't really take anything till the daily closes.
Look at that, it bombed straight through my TP.
Does it? Yeah. Nice double top that though.
Like it's happened so many. It's like it's fingered me so many times now. I just laugh at it. Just laugh because it's just just used to it now. It's funny. It takes the piss.
Hey, John. John.
It's true, it does though, doesn't it? It's like, look at it, like it happens all the time. I don't take a trade, it bombs it to take profit. I do take a trade, it bombs it to stop loss. Like it's.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear you, mate. I hear you. No work today, Dan?
Huh?
No work today?
No, it's my day off.
Oh, you spend it with me? God, must be special.
I was the only one sitting there last week.
Yeah.
I was just like, where is everybody? Oh, yes, we're off. You're a good person to spend it with.
Well, we have good chats, don't we, Dan?
We do.
We like our good chats, don't we? We've got to be careful with our chats now because we're on YouTube. But
Yeah.
but
Just load to edit. Manking out.
John won't mind anyway. He'll still. John will still come up with these conspiracies. He doesn't care who the audience
I haven't
is.
had any more conspiracy theories lately.
Yeah.
No.
You alright? I'm worried about you.
Well, can't think of any really.
What do you just come up with them like?
Yeah. I just kind of see them. They just come to me, and I just see them.
Well, we might have a potential gold trade today, guys. At 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, we might have a trade on gold. Off the floor.
I'll tell you something else. It's like I said earlier, like these trades, when it just bombs it in one way and doesn't like top wick or it doesn't bottom wick first,
Yeah.
it puts your anxiety up because you're like, well, it's only just does it realistically, does it have enough strength to push all the way to take profit? I mean, it's to be fair, it's been a while, I think, since I've seen it do something like this where it's not top wicked and it's bombed straight to take profit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just unfortunate that it is that I just didn't take it because I was dubious about the fact that it kind of pretty much closed doji. But because the thing is, most of the time it'll push down like 70% of the way and then it'll flip and come straight up to stop loss.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it's doing here. Like, it's because if it just keeps pushing and pushing and then closes bearish, I don't want to place a bearish like trade purely because it's like you said like a couple of weeks ago, like they push when you see like a massive push.
Yeah.
Most of the time it just flips and like comes and flips the other way.
Yeah. Well. Yeah,
I've just
so
got to be with
it's gonna be what?
coming trade. I've got to be happy with coming out of a trade. I've had a few trades this week where I've been in profit, where I thought like, oh, you could come out now. Then I've decided not to.
Yeah.
And then
Did you take any partial?
No.
That was my biggest downfall, really. I really
And usually I
struggled.
do.
Yeah.
But
How did you feel like after not taking any partial?
where because you're just like, well, you could have been up, whether or not it's the amount that you want, but it's trying to work out what the market's doing. Like I say, it's all about reacting to what the market's showing you. If it's showing you that it wants to turn around, then take notice of it. Don't think, oh well, it might turn around, it might only come back this way, because you're emoting into it.
Yeah.
You're feeling, right, well, it's going to come and do this, and it doesn't, but it totally throws you off.
Yeah.
And that's you deciding before the market's done anything what the market's going to do.
Yeah.
And that, I feel, is my big problem at the minute, is I think I know what the market's going to do, and I don't have a clue what the market's doing. Or, I mean, I'm in a NAS trade at the minute, and I've been in it all week.
Oh yeah. What was this on? This buys.
Nice.
Nice.
And it was a quality pullback, but it had made.
Was it this wing back?
No. What time frame are you on? 4 hour.
Yeah.
So, 6. So, my entry is 19774. Further back.
4.
With 4 hours. So yeah. So you've got.
Oh, these
You
levels.
go back further. Again, that one.
Really?
That little pullback. Yeah.
Nice.
The
Nice
buy.
that, Dan. Did you? Take it you didn't go break even.
Nah. So I'm in profit now. So it's already come down. It hasn't hit stops or anything like that. My stops are well safe at the minute. But I should have come out, obviously, at the peak before the first big pullback.
Well, to be honest with you though, if you read the charts, really, you should be coming up to this, shouldn't you? So I can see,
Yeah.
I can probably see why you didn't come out. because you price is only rejected from here once, and that was this area. What we're going off. How's that? Here.
It goes back to what you said before, where you take your partials and you come out with break even quite a lot.
Yeah, you do, like.
And that's what I was finding, is that I come out with break even a lot, and then it'll go off and do the move that I thought it was going to do. So looked at it and I've thought, well, if I move to break even now,
you're going to get stopped.
It's going to come back. It's going to come back down and take this out. So I'll not do it.
Yeah.
And it hasn't. And I'm hoping it's on its way up, and it's not going to.
Well, it's looking good. Yeah. I would definitely take some partial here.
Yeah.
Either there or where were we at? Yeah, because we're there. Depends where your stops are. So you can go from here all the way down, or you can pull back to here, which is around these levels. From this tap.
Yeah.
Then also, I would probably close full here at 27.42. You're probably going to get a decent pullback at that point from there.
Yeah.
But obviously, this is just what I would do. You got to do what's right for you. But you know, that's really good. That, and if the daily closed above, which is what we're after, so if the daily closed above here, the probability to come and tap 23.13 is fantastic, really high. So you're coming to them levels. So no, that's good. That Dan, really good, mate.
Well, I stuck a second entry on because I was just like, yep, I'm confident. Yeah. It's like it'll come back down, it'll touch this part. It came down, entered us, went into profit. It should have then closed out. Chose not to, didn't take any partials on that one, and then it changed and just tapped me stops.
Oh yeah.
And then went back up. So I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So I haven't touched this one, I've just left.
Yeah, that's it, because what it is, sometimes if you put another entry on and you get stopped out on that, then you think, shit, this whole trade what I'm in now, still long time from, it's just going to cover the loss.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just known when to get in.
Well, that's it. I think a big thing is, I said before, it's reading the candles. It's trying your hardest to stop your input, your personal input on what you're looking at, because it got nothing to do with that.
Instead of just going what the candle's showing you.
Yeah. And it's, that I think that's where the work is the hardest, because it's learning the way that candles are moving. You can do it for a long time and still not fully comprehend it.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be 100% perfect, but you can read the candles and see and be happy with where you are.
Yeah.
Like you say, if you're going for $1,000 on a trade, but you want it in one trade, but you could put 5 trades on, and each 5 of those trades hit £100. There's your $1,000. But if you're wanting $1,000 on each one of those trades and you're leaving it, you're not taking partials, chances are, the majority of those trades might hit 200 and then reverse and put you into a negative.
Yeah.
And that's what I've found a lot over the last couple of weeks, is I could have had a decent bit of profit at the minute with very minimal losses had I watched it properly or read it properly.
Yeah.
So it's a big learning curve, but I'm still nowhere near where I need.
You're getting there, mate. You are getting there.
You've
had some beauty trades now.
Confidence being on the streams and talking to people who know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I feel makes a massive difference. That's why I hate just having Thursdays to play with. So But
Well, I'll make sure my schedule's free on Thursday, so I'm on longer, Dan, just for you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you've always got the entertainment of John Mears, you know, with us as well. Well, yeah. No, it's been, to be honest, this week, it's a shame because obviously I've just started streaming on YouTube again and like, literally, I couldn't have picked a worse time to start streaming again with the way the charts are this week.
Are you doing YouTube again?
Well, last week, mate, I was up 400 pips. 400 pips last week. It was a fantastic week. So it's just typical, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just streaming on YouTube as well. Just like what we used to.
Yeah.
But obviously, members can still come into Discord and talk and stuff like that. Well, yeah. And like, there's not much going on. We're just waiting again. I mean, we used to wait for hours, didn't we, Dan? Absolutely hours, talking about football and
conspiracy theories.
Fishing.
Politics.
I tell you what, it's not really a conspiracy theory, but you see, with India attacking Pakistan, you see that?
Oh, shit.
Mental. I mean, they've been at it with each other for...
Is their war finally started then, is it?
Their war's finally started.
They both have nuclear capability as well, don't they? So...
Yeah, I think they need to, mate. Get amongst them, wipe the Pakistanis out.
It's just mental. Absolutely mental. But it shows the state of affairs, current state of affairs in the world at the minute.
Yeah. Well, they've been at it for years, them, you know, with each other. They hate each other.
Well, this is it. But it's been sort of quiet, obviously, throughout the world.
Mm.
There's opposing nations who every now and again will, you know, take up arms and they'll have little skirmishes with each other. But things go quiet. But then over the last few years, you can see the tension. And you've got, you know, the likes of Trump coming in and stuff like that, causing absolute chaos around the world.
Don't be dissing my Trump.
The domino effect.
Yeah.
I know you love him. Doesn't stop.
I'll tell you what, I wish we had him. I wish he would sort us out. He won't be liked, but he'd sort us out.
Yeah, well, you know,
running into the
that
ground.
might be a reality at some point because Nigel Farage is his best friend, isn't he?
Well, I don't know whether Nigel Farage...
a literal shitload of council elections, haven't they? Like,
well, I think Reform are the only chance we've got. I think they're our last chance. I really do. To be honest, I think it's too late. I think it's already we're too infiltrated now. We're just sort of getting outbred. We're too infiltrated. But at least Reform. I don't know whether Nigel Farage is the right man. I think he could be.
Those policies are sharp.
You just know from the first year, really. But he's our only option. There's no other party. Reform's our only option, and at the moment you've got to go with the party with the best policy on immigration. That's it. You've got to go. That's UK's, the root of every issue we have in the UK comes down to the immigration issue. There's too many people coming in. That's why you can't.
If he stopped everybody coming in, but then privatised our NHS.
He's not going to privatise the NHS.
He won't privatise the NHS. I think he said that once, didn't he?
It's in their manifesto. All they've said in their manifesto is that the NHS will still remain free, but they need to completely reconfigure it. And
he's the one then.
A way of making it better.
It wouldn't be free on an insurance-based policy. That's not free.
But he's the one though, Dan. Right? If your taxes came down, right, where it would cover the cost of your insurance for private, but now the difference is, so you're better off money-wise, but now you can actually get a doctor's appointment. That's what it would be like.
Is that how it's going to work, though? Are they going to lower the taxes for the everyday man to cover?
Well, I don't think they need to. The thing is,
They couldn't.
I don't think they'll. Yeah, I don't think they'll get rid of the NHS. I think the issue we've got with the NHS is it's overused. It's not really that it's underfunded. I think it's overused. That's the issue we've got with it. You've got like, but that's because there's nowhere else to go. People can't get a doctor's appointment. So where do they go? A&E. You know.
Yeah.
There's not enough doctors as well. The money is being spent wrong, and this is across every level, from low council level, which he's proved it. Low council level, money's being spent wrong, all the way up to sending money to Ukraine and things like that. Like, the money is all getting spent wrong, and if they just stop the foreign aid, we can't even look after our own. How can we look after other countries, giving them money for aid? Like, it's just ridiculous. We're not an empire anymore. We still think we're an empire. We're not. We're just a little island. We're not even an army. We shouldn't be called the British Army because the manpower's so low. We should be called a defence force. That's technically what we are.
I wouldn't even call it a defence force. It's more like the Beavers.
Well, the way the army got around it, right? Because I had this brief when I was in. If you're below, I think it's like 80,000 people, right? You're then known as a defence force, not an army. But what they've done is they tried to really boost the TA, Telltale Army, to keep us above them numbers. But the issue you've got is the standard of soldiering hugely drops from the TA. There's some good TA soldiers, but it hugely drops. I'm not being funny, but there is a massive difference from a regular soldier to the average territorial army soldier. Yeah. Also, another thing what's lowered the standard is, and nobody talks about this, there was a Marine who nearly got put in prison because he put a petition out about women in the Marines. The Royal Marines, there's like infantry units, if you like. And they were complaining about having women in their unit because standards has hugely dropped and it wasn't fair. And I said this when I was leaving the force, that I would not want a woman in my section. If I was...
what do you mean the standards have dropped?
The standards have dropped.
What's changed? Like, why is it bad? I mean, to be honest, I can already see a couple of reasons as to why it's bad. But...
Yeah, well... He's a reason. So he put that petition out. It's all over YouTube and social media. This guy, him and his brother, done it, and they're like a full regiment of Royal Marines like signed it within 24 hours, saying that's not right. It's not working.
What's bad about it though? And because I mean, you know more about the army than I do.
So let's say, for example, a woman passes the infantry course. Yeah. And let's say they pass training as such and they come into a battalion, right? I guarantee you the section commanders and the other lads would not want that female in their section, and the reason being is she's physically not going to be able to carry the same amount of kit as them blokes. So as a section, you have so much kit you've got to distribute amongst your men, right? So it might be machine gun link, it could be ECM equipment, it's like ECM Blue's heavy as fuck, it's like having a fridge on your back. Yeah, it could be certain weapon systems, could be mortar rounds for the mortar men, anything, you've got to distribute that. Subconsciously you're going to give her less, or she might physically only be able to carry a certain amount of money. But also, that lass, because the average build of a woman is obviously less than a man. How is that lass going to be able to pick up a Fijian soldier? I've seen a Fijian soldier. They're all massive. Yeah, you get small Fijians. They're all massive, right? So...
But I mean, again, that's open to interpretation, I think, because, there are some women out there that have insane strength.
There is some.
There
is some.
Like, I've seen women that have insane strength. Like, so it's not... yes, you're right, like women do have less body mass, but that's not to say necessarily that they can't do those things.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to genes, right? So let's say in battle, you're storming a position. What we're trained to do, if one of your blokes gets shot, you're meant to leave them and still push onto the point. Yeah. Man's instinct is if that female gets shot, you're going to stop and help. Yeah. You then also have the issues. You also have the issues, and this is what this Royal Marine said. You have the issues of women, special treatment, but also feeling like they're being bullied because the way blokes are. And like if you had a woman in my regiment at the time I was in, she would have been tortured. She would have been. It wouldn't be bullied though, because every bloke gets tortured. But the woman but she would take it personal with the banter because it's just the way the banter is. Do you know what I mean? But also, you've got then people hooking up. If you're on exercise for a month or in the field for a month, you're going to end up hooking up with that lass.
And then you've got the complication of like emotions, detachment, rationality.
But also other men hooking up with her.
Thinking rational, doesn't it?
Yeah, other men hooking up with her, and then they're fighting, and it just complicates the whole thing. It's hard to explain it unless you've been in it. But every infantryman I know would not want a female in their section. So if everyone thinks I think done it,
you're right, and I think fair enough. Like, say for example, if a woman went into say nursing, maybe like nursing.
Well, there's women on the front line. So we had some Mint medics in Afghan, right? And we had a Mint signaler who literally was on the front line in an ambush, where she was attached to the a Danish company. Their first patrol that went out, one got shot in the face, one got shot in the neck. She was in the thick of it, right? Wading through bodies and things like that. She's on the radio. So there is women on the front line. But for a woman to go and fling herself through a door with a bayonet on and thrust a bayonet through a man's rib cage, you just can't see it. There will be women who can do it. You just can't see it. But that's not just the issue. Again, this is just my opinion, but I know every infantryman I've served with, they do not want women in the infantry.
Yeah, it's understandable. I do get it.
It just, I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into it. But yeah, so standards of the British Army is being dropped, and that's why the Royal Marines. And also, you probably start seeing it on social media now. People in the armed forces, mate, they're signing off massively in massive groups. They are struggling to recruit in the forces. They're really struggling. And do you know what one of the biggest reasons is? They don't want to go to Ukraine and fight for Snarmy. That was one of the biggest reasons.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame them?
It's not our war. It's got nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
Well, that's my rant for the morning. Oh, wait there. We had a NAS close. 30 minutes. Ooh, John, look at that. 30 minutes.
No, minute.
Are you in cells?
No, boys.
Oh, right. Well, there's a 30 close. I don't know whether this is going to drive today. I'm waiting for the 10. I'll know at 10 o'clock, guys, whether we're going to catch a trade or something. I need this forward to close like this, but then I need a top wick. But we might not get a top wick, but I want a top wick. And then I'll look at sell stops to come down. We'd look at going risk-free. On this level. Oh, we love a good political chat, don't we, John?
So you said that this guy got put into prison. Is he still in?
They were trying to. The MOD came out and said it was Russia who put the petition out, and then these lads came out and said no, it was us. The serving Royal Marine who put it out. You need to look into all the details
I don't understand how that's a criminal offence. I mean, I appreciate that the government can, you know, swing their dick in whatever way they want, and if they want to put you in prison, they'll find a way of putting you in prison. But like, it's not even like how I don't understand how that's illegal.
Yeah. Well,
It's
it's
have an
political
opinion.
correctness, isn't it?
Mm.
Political correctness. The issue they've got in the forces, right? So why they've got to say to themselves, why they keep going. I mean, these adverts, what they're putting out, they put some of the worst adverts like 10 years ago on the British Army. Some of the worst adverts ever. Cringy promotional adverts to join the army. And the new ones are not even that good either. But they're getting better. They are getting better. The issue they've got with the forces, obviously, lack of funding. So when I first joined, the army was literally a work hard, play hard type of organisation. So you get hammered, you know, you'd be on exercise, you'd put everything in, you'd be drained, caked in mud, aching like hell, you'd work really hard, but then you'd have
Sounds
a
like
week.
my landscaping.
Yeah, you'd have a week of adventure training in Cyprus, or you'd get to go sailing on the Canary Islands, or you'd go around the islands of Key Cork in Belize. So, but then what happened is the money started dropping, and the budget. So the army don't have the budget. So I'll give you an example, right? When I first joined the army at 17, first place I went was Belize. We had a month in the jungle, hard graft, and then we had a week in Key Corker doing adventure training, and we had 3 nights in Cancun, all paid for, 5-star hotel, wristbands to get in the nightclub, all paid for by the MOD, by the army, right? 17, fantastic. You know, you think, yeah, I'll go to Belize, you know, I'll work out there so I can have that. After that, we went to Bosnia, right? And then the army started getting really serious and professional, like proper professional, because Iraq kicked off and Afghan kicked off. So we went from Bosnia, had a year off, went to Herrick 7, Afghanistan. We had a year off, went straight back to Afghanistan for Herrick 11, went to Cyprus. We were in Cyprus, right? I did not do one adventure training. When we were in Cyprus, we were theatre reserve, so we were in and out of Afghan. Certain departments, like sometimes commanders would go out, stuff like that. We didn't do any adventure training. It was so from after that Belize, when the army went really professional and everything was Iraq and Afghanistan, it was just all work. And the army lost the balance of work hard and play hard. So, but obviously the budget's come down. So again, they've got less, but at the moment they've got nowhere to go. The armed forces got nowhere to go. So there's no island anymore. We've pulled out of Germany. Cyprus is like more of a post. There's no Afghan, no Iraq. We've got people in Ukraine and Syria, but all they're doing is like training their troops. That's about it. And still, morale is so low in the forces. Yeah, it's a shame, really.
Embarrassing, really. Isn't it?
It is embarrassing, mate. It's just because the governments is just and this thing about soldiers getting done in Ireland and that. You just lose trust with the government, and that's all what people's doing now. Soldiers just losing trust with the government. Like if you got asked to go and fight in Ukraine now, yeah, you'd refuse because you'd be like, well, it's got nothing to do with us. I wouldn't fight. It's got no threat to our country itself. Like, even though mainstream media would say it is, but it isn't. Can't believe mainstream.
Thing is, like,
media.
you know, Russia isn't like keen on the idea of the UK or America supplying aid, but it's not like they're turning around and threatening us and trying to come over here and start wars, is it? Like, you know, it's like you say, it's got nothing to do with us. It's not our war.
You've got to say
Why
yourself,
get
right?
involved in it?
How many punches have Putin took and he hasn't reacted? He's took loads of punches and still hasn't reacted. NATO advancing to the east, one after another. He warned. He went, "You're doing it again, guys." And we've Introduce another country, move more east. You've done it again, guys. That's another one. What are you doing? We had an agreement. Still, we moved to the east. You know what I mean? The amount of punches he's took and still hasn't reacted. He wanted to be part of NATO, but he got rejected.
Why did he get rejected?
Well, because NATO at the time. We need to look at ourselves. What it is, people only think and see what we see on our news. I don't watch our news. I watch a freelance news where it's non-biased, both sides of the. And we look at our news and we see Russia is bad in that, when really.
Oh, they only show us what they want us to see.
Yeah,
don't they?
of course.
They don't show all of it.
Of course. Like, people didn't know that pro-Russians were getting mass murdered by Ukrainians, pro-Ukrainians in Ukraine for years. We don't see that, do we? Even before the war. And Russia was sending aid, but didn't send troops. Sent aid to these pro-Russian people who think they're Russian, like the Donbass regions. But we don't hear that in the news, do we? We don't hear that Zelensky's Ukraine's building a ski resort. You know that?
No.
Over £1 billion ski resort in a country what is rife with war at the minute. Why are they doing that? Doesn't make sense. How has Zelensky became a billionaire since the war started? How has he become a billionaire? You think he'd be putting his own money in? Do you know what I mean? It's like, just doesn't add up. I'm having a proper rant now. I love a good rant. I love a good rant. Got 19 minutes for the regiment. Ooh, bloody hell. Anyway, football.
Fuck football.
Football. But where are we finishing, Dan? Where are we finishing in the
You
league?
should talk about how I grinded 6 hours on GTA last night to buy my max stack submarine.
Have you seen the trailers for GTA 6?
I have. It does look insane, doesn't it?
It does look mental.
Which that's the next year, isn't it?
Is it next year now?
Yeah, they postponed it by a year.
I was looking
Like
forward to
July
it.
2026 now.
The issue what
Which
you
I kind of half expected, really, but it's just what Rockstar does. It's true what they say. They always try, in terms of like when they release a game, they always try to exceed the expectation of the customer.
Yeah, but also is if you think about it now with the likes of AI and things like that, it's advancing so fast. When they start creating a game, 6 months later there could be something what could make the game 10 times better just from AI. Do you know what I mean? But they've already made the game. So you can imagine it'd be so hard making a game because new technology always coming out.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think we've ever had, like they've got such a good track record. Like I don't think we've ever had lots of our games that have not exceeded the expectations of the consumer.
Yeah.
They're one of the few games development companies where they will actually put hard graft into their games and make sure that the games that they release are just, spectacular.
Do you know all I'm waiting for, John? Is when GTA becomes a VR.
I'm sure they've already done that, haven't they, with mods?
Yeah, but I'm on about. Have you seen the jacket? What you can get now, where you'll feel like wind in that.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
We're nearly there, John. Nearly there. We have this conversation probably on every session. We nearly there.
Like, if you want a conspiracy theory, like one of my biggest conspiracy theories is, I think that we are actually in a simulation already from
Yeah.
a really highly advanced, like, alien species.
Yeah.
I think because our technology, realistically, our technology really isn't that advanced at the moment. Like, we haven't even touched quantum mechanics yet, like quantum engineering, really. And that's possible, but we just don't have the technology or the brains to do it yet. So, and I just think about, without quantum technology, we've already managed to do, VR simulations and VR experiences where, there are some VR experiences out there that almost make you feel like you really are there, and like
Yeah.
they kind of almost start tricking your brain into thinking that you actually are there, because that's what virtual reality is. So just imagine that, if there is a race out there in the universe that has achieved quantum level virtual reality, like capable of doing it down to the molecular level, that could be us. That could be what we're doing now, living in a virtual reality, and when we die we come out of it.
Yeah. And this is what me and Dan have spoke about loads on these streams. Who's to say we're
Like,
not
our
in?
virtual reality is very, very basic in comparison to, just imagine what virtual reality could be like in our world, like 250 years from now.
Exactly.
Imagine how advanced it would be.
I mean, imagine though,
You know.
you don't get to pick your avatar. But imagine if you turn out, you get the avatar of John Mears. I'd love that. I would love that.
That would be such a privilege, wouldn't it?
I'd just buy the tightest speedos ever, and I'd just walk around all in Portsmouth Beach constantly. That's all
I
do.
like my speedos.
I know you do.
I like to make sure that it's all on view. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this massive bulge there, I just like to make sure that everyone can see it, just to know how much of a big deal that I am.
Oh, you're a big deal, all right. You're a big deal.
But yeah, I actually do think that.
Well, I hope so, but no
life
me.
isn't life. I actually think that and to be honest with you, I think if you look hard enough, the proof's out there. Like, the proof is out there that death is just the start of another journey.
Yeah,
coming back out of your little flesh avatar and going to a different dimension, and suddenly you're in a completely different world, and you're like, shit, is that where I've been? I've been to Earth. Fucking hell.
No me though, John.
That was an experience.
I'll die in this VR. I'll die and I'll come out and I'm just some big fat ball with pizza on my belly, finger my belly button, masturbating all day, sweaty. And I'll be, man, for fuck's sake.
I want to go back.
Yeah, I gotta go back in. Thing is though, life might get that bad where people literally choose to come into this game, if you like, just to live. But then again, this life's not the best.
I was going to say, I think we're already there.
Yeah. We've got 12 minutes.
But then at the same time, like, you say that, but I mean, you have to try to find reasons behind why historically, like, the human experience has been absolutely awful. Like, there have been points where, war is constant and torture is like the next best thing since sliced bread. Like,
hell, John.
Human beings used to do things like coffin torture and the brazen bull and the Catherine wheel and, burying people alive, or
Do you still do this on the weekend?
Water torture, and like, historically, like, or the Iron Maiden, for example, like, human beings used to be, I mean, to be fair, people still are, that cruel in some parts of the world, but it used to be like global. France, the UK, America, like, all countries used to indulge in these types of tortures. And it just makes you think, wow, if it was really a virtual reality experience, why would you choose to come into an experience like that?
Well, maybe it's a war game, because all humans have been doing for centuries and centuries just killing each other. Maybe we're actually in a war game, mate.
birth of humans, this is what we've done.
Maybe we were meant to fight though.
Well, I mean, I just think if you look at it from like now perspective, not like what we did when we didn't have like all the stuff that we have now to distract us. That like wars and things like that now are based on somebody wanting something from somewhere else. It's not about protecting people from dictators or a different way of life than what we think is the right way. It's just there's a lot of money to be made for elites.
The elite.
Things like war, pandemic. There's a lot of money to be made there, so this is what we are directed towards. We are conditioned, we are advised by the media to go in certain directions.
Yeah. Do you know what I think they should do? They close down all the weapon factories, making rifles and guns and things like that. Right? And if a country has a dispute with another country, what they do, that leader then, they get given armour, sword and shield. And they've got to fight the other leader of that country with armour, sword and shield. You know, take it back to the roots. And that'll just resolve a lot of things. A lot easier. Save lives.
I'll tell you something else as well, like, you know, and I think one of the maddest bits about the human experience is that we're, you know, 99% of people are programmed to fear death. And just imagine if the human race knew, like, definitively, like they had scientific proof on our level that death wasn't the end, and actually it was basically some, you know, theoretical big VR game where if you did die, you don't die, you just go back to another life.
Yeah.
Just imagine if people knew that. Suicides would 10 times or 15 times, wouldn't they? Maybe even more.
Well,
like,
do you think they will though? Or do you think they would? Or do you think they would just go, fuck it, I want to go mental?
And I think, yeah, and that, there's that possibility as well. So maybe that is one of the reasons why we're not allowed to know that death isn't the end. Do you know what I mean? Why it's so hard to prove that it's not the end. I mean, to be honest with you, I actually do think that some scientists have come close to proving that death isn't the end, because I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, but I think there have been scientists that have like studied like numbers and binary codes that have been created.
Yeah.
And like there are like patterns that no one can explain. Like no scientist can explain certain patterns. I mean, some of the biggest things as well is like how, you know, I think it's is it an atom? I'm not sure if it's an atom, but like, is it an atom? I can't remember, but it's like an atom only changes when you look at it, but if you're not looking at it, it's divided or something like that. Like, and it's only when a human being looks at it. If it's like recorded, for example, if it's recorded, it stays the same, but if you actually look at it, it changes.
Yeah.
And like scientists can't explain that yet either. Like it's there are certain things about life or like the fundamentals of existence that
has it come into existence because we are here to observe it.
Oh, I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
Yeah. It's all like there's like certain quantum mechanics that even the world's best scientists can't explain to them. Like they can see it, but they can't explain it, and they don't know why. And there are still so many things that science hasn't like conquered or understood, and it just leaves all these questions open to speculation. So I do think there's a lot more to existing than just existence, you know. Like so many people come into life and they just think,
Or-
it's just life, you know.
Or another way to
We're born,
look at
we
it.
work, the family, we die, and I think there's so much more to it than that. Like, there really is. There's
Or,
so many things that
John,
aren't explained.
another way to look at it is, why do we think so highly of ourselves? Are we just another midgie? Are we just another flea? Another rat? We think so highly of ourselves, you know? Are we just another fly where there's nothing after? We're just here for a very short period of time, and that's it.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I
I'm
don't
just
know,
putting
I
out there,
think-
John.
I like to think that, you know, the level of intelligence a human being has is far more advanced than a common housefly.
I don't think we're
I
intelligent.
mean, true,
though.
there might be
Yeah, but
people
in
out
the
there that do have that level of intelligence, don't get me wrong, but, you know, in terms of like what we're capable of and what we're capable of understanding and capable of like seeing and realizing and observing, you know, I think we're a bit more advanced than the common housefly.
What happens to if there's a being that can fly past our planet and observe us, but we don't have the comprehension that they have, the way that the life
No
universe-
species will make itself publicly known to human beings. We're just, you know, to
No, but in the grand scheme of
other
things,
alien
no.
species, we're just monkeys. You know, we're just
well, this is it. So
children in comparison to the technology that they have. Like, I think there are aliens out there that, you know, not only have the capability of, you know, crossing universes and solar systems at light speed. I also think there are species out there that are capable of crossing dimensions, you know.
Oh, I watched Interstellar the other day as well.
and I think what you have to think of as well, though, in that realm of things, if there's anything that can travel at light speed, then if they leave their own world and travel 100 light years to us, 1,000 or 1,000,000 light years to us,
They'll come at us, they'll have a look and they'll laugh.
but then if they were to then travel back to their home planet, millions of years could have passed. So then nothing is the same. So
I don't know, I don't think their technology is like that. I think their technology is
what we wouldn't
capable of
know.
traveling so fast that they don't, like, they literally, it's just blipping away for like a couple of months and then coming back, you know, or like a month, you know. I think there are species out there that have been around for billions of years, you know, far 20, 30, 40 times longer than what human beings have been, maybe even like 100 times longer, you know. But I think their science is far more advanced than what human beings can even comprehend. From even so advanced that maybe even the human brain as it stands now can't really understand or comprehend, you know. They could see it, but they couldn't understand it, you know. I think, yeah, I just think I don't think we're the only species alive in the universe. There are other species.
I
We just
think it
can't
would
see them.
be very naive to think that we would be the only species, whether or not we are the first to have developed that can start looking out is always a possibility.
I mean, for example, did you know a couple of years ago, I think it was a Japanese scientist, a Japanese scientist invented the first sort of cloaking device, or like the first invisibility device. And it's not electronic, but it's like sort of like a shield that bends light around it. So when you're behind it, it turns you invisible, but when you're outside of it, like you're visible. So it's really quite amazing, really. You can look it up on YouTube. It's not something that you can publicly buy, but invisibility is a thing that's being worked on at the moment, because obviously military want to use things like that, like cloaking and stuff. You know, so that invisibility is technically being invented now. Like, they've done it, but it's just not very good. So you imagine what invisibility would be like in 20 or 30 years time, maybe like 50 years time. It would just be so refined that you could just cover an item and you wouldn't even know it's there, you know. Harry Potter level, you know, invisibility cloak. I'm serious, man. Like, have a look. Like, people have done it. Scientists have done it.
Okay, guys. Before was about to close.
Correct.
I'm actually looking at if I can get a pullback, break this high at 3344 off the next hour, it comes up first, breaks the high. I'm gonna have a sell stop underneath, and my stops are literally gonna be above this high. It's gonna be tight stops. Okay, I'm willing to risk this short trade to grab this to the downside. It's just because the 4's broke below now.
I should maybe.
Normally, I would want to pull back to 3358. I would want to pull back to 3358. However, we might drive straight down. So if I can just get that top wick breaking the highs, I'm gonna get sell stops underneath.
What, on the hour?
Off the hour, yeah. It'd be something like. But I've got to have that pullback, break the high 3344. If I get that, I'll have a sell stop underneath. It'd be like that. And our target is the forward range. Yeah, that's what I'd be looking at. That. So can we get a pullback? Come on, give us that pullback.
Yeah, like I say, I just think humans are like children to what another species is. Like, that's
100%.
why they're not even. They don't even. But I think genuinely, I think that's the reason why other species just don't even bother with us. You know, they just look at us and think, fucking idiots.
Oh,
you know?
definitely. All that poverty, all the wars that we have, the killing that we do with each other, separated by pretending borders.
Mm-hmm.
If I was
Other species would be far more advanced beyond war, poverty, and religion. Like, it's
generally, you would expect from a human point of view, you would have to expect that a civilization is able to leave one planet and like navigate the universe. And
I mean, I do think there have been civilizations in human history that have been more advanced than what we are today, and I believe
that.
there have been civilizations that have been visited and have communicated with aliens because they were more advanced than today. You know, and I genuinely do think that's the only reason why aliens don't really interact with us. It's because we're just not advanced. We're not advanced enough. We're just
because
we can't
one of the big ones has already done it.
Greed, poverty, and shit like that. You know.
Come on, let's break the high.
It's either that or we've already been contacted by powerful enough to deter others. So we are now somebody else's territory. It's fun.
Yeah, I do believe there was an advanced civilization before. It's like they're the ones who built the pyramids and that. That's what I do believe.
And there's all this theory and all this thinking, and yet even at our level, there are like organizations that do their absolute best to ensure that the public don't have this kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
They keep knowledge from us. Like, we actively know that. Like, for example, the fucking what is it? Like, all of the religious archives. Like, there are religious archives in where it fucking is, somewhere in Italy. It's where the Pope resides. Where the Pope was.
The Vatican.
Where it is. The Vatican, yeah. That's what it's called. It's called the Vatican Archives. no public are allowed to see it. The only people that are allowed to see it are like the very, very top levels of Christianity, like the very, very top levels of religion, and like certain government officials. No public level is allowed to see the Vatican archives. Why are they keeping those secrets? What's in the Vatican archives that they don't want the public to know? You know what I mean? Like, there is knowledge that is being actively kept from the public. There have been books and texts and scripts and things that have been destroyed over the years deliberately to prevent that knowledge from getting into public hands. You know,
Well,
there's stuff like that. There's all that shit that goes on as well. Sorry, Dan, go on. I know I just...
It goes off on one.
I do, mate. I'm like Pete. I just go off on one, and I just go and go and go. Brain's too big. That's what it is. Mine's too big.
Yeah. Well, this is it. It's just what goes against the narrative, isn't it? So if anything comes up, then you have wars in places. You take over places. You burn places to the ground. So you've got things like the Library of Alexandria.
They've not long done Sunderland.
But it isn't just it's if somebody comes across something that would disprove the narrative of the Bible or something like that, change everything we think is correct in what we've been taught, then it throws off any power that they have as the Vatican City. You take that and you hide that, and it doesn't become public knowledge. That's what the Vatican archives are. But there was talks of them like looking for the spear that killed Christ, Holy Grail, all of that sort of stuff being potentially down there. So yeah, I mean, we're too small to ever know what the elite have from us. But you've got, what I find fantastic is the fact that we've still got families today that were present in ancient Egypt. They've just changed names and things like that, but the families are still prevalent today, and those are your big elites, like your Rothschilds and your Carnegies, your Masons, all of this sort of stuff. They've been around for thousands of years. So if you've got families who still retain power and believe that they don't control the narrative of the world, I just think that would be very naive. That we are literally all manipulated for a purpose.
Dan for Prime Minister. Dan for Prime Minister.
You mean Dan for Prime Minister? I should be the fucking Prime Minister.
Nah, me.
John for...
No.
John. Yeah, I do love chats like this. I
I'd
do love
get
chats like
this
this.
country in tip-top shape if I was Prime Minister.
Oh, that'd be ruthless. I would be called Hitler if I was Prime Minister. I would.
Hitler Pete.
Hitler.
Yeah. A little Hitler.
The Crow dictatorship.
Yeah.
Order of the Crow.
It'd be a better world.
Ooh, nice. Order of the Crow.
Oh,
You have
no,
a nice
that-
sigil.
Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it, isn't it?
Order of the Crow.
And they just wear dark hooded robes,
Yeah.
you know, meet in a secluded mansion.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, keep talking, Dan. Go on.
Crow helmet.
Everybody has torches and they just chant the greater good.
Yeah.
Greater good.
The Avian King.
Like, it comes out with a massive crow's head.
Yeah.
He used to.
Sacrificial altars and all of that jazz.
I'd have an island. Definitely have an island.
Sacrificing virgins to the trading gods
Yeah.
for a good week of pips ahead.
Can we
You
break
heard
this
of
high?
The avian crow, the avian leader. He leads
Does
an
everyone
order
get
of crows.
crowned?
What?
Oh, it's almost there. It's almost tickling Pete's bum.
I would prefer a bigger pullback, but if you look at the fours, the fours can just drive straight down.
Hmm.
This needs to be just there. Stop loss needs to be 0.22. Take partial multiplicator is 3.39.38. Come on, break this high. I need a high broke, guys. Come on.
Oh yeah. With you looking at news,
Ah,
I know that Trump was meant to be doing some big news today at like around 1.
Yeah,
Some
half one.
Fat news.
He's stepping down.
No, he's not stepping
Oh.
down. He's changing some things.
Yes,
Doing
he's
new
going to be
trade
in
deals.
for another 15 years.
We tapped it. I think we have kind of tapped it.
I need to break the highs. I need to rule out this. I need to rule out us pushing back up off the floor.
Hmm.
Because the floor could actually pull back all the way up to 3372 if it wants to. But it doesn't tend to do that when we come back into these areas. But there's only one way we've came from these heights back into this area, and that's this one. But we had a big gap, so it's hard to go off it. Just got to be patient. So what we want really is when we break this high, we want this hour to flip back to the downside ideally. I'm not saying it's going to, but the reason we wait is because if it does, then it's pretty likely we're going to be pushing to these levels. But if it doesn't, from this point we get our sell stops on, it means we could be closing bullish. Therefore, the fall was coming higher up, so it's missed us. Have we broke here high?
I mean, almost. We've tapped the high, haven't broken it.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one here. Close. 1 hour close. Still not. 15's closing. One minute for the 15 to close. 15 minutes left of this 30. Come on, 15. Pop up. I mean, worst case, what you could do as well, just take a closure below here. You might power through. Want this new 15 to pop up. I mean, if we break this, I mean, really. So 15 bullish close. We had a 15 close respect in there, so we had a 15 close respect. That means we need to break a high. I mean, we broke these highs, but we haven't prominently broke it. And what you could get as well is this 15 could come down activated. This is why if you get it on too early, you could just get a pop down to then come up. We've just got to be patient here, guys. Quarter past 10. I would have a sunbathing session today, I think.
There's not really a lot of sun down here today.
Not a lot of
Dry.
wind.
Really?
It's dry and it's overcast down here.
I've got a few clouds, but
We've had some
Fine.
glorious weather up, yeah. 20 tomorrow.
20 degrees tomorrow, is it?
24, 25, 2 days last week. 3 days last week, and it was looking sweltering.
Yeah.
So, alright. 20 tomorrow, 20 Saturday, 19 Sunday, and then slowly going back. Nice! Loads of water in tomorrow at work.
Nice. I'm not happy with that high. I need to break the high, guys. I can't get it on yet. Come on, get up there. I mean, could we take the 5 if the 5 closed below? $15 broke out to the upside. We could potentially take if the 15 closes below, we could potentially take that. Because the 15's bullish at the moment. What it is, when it comes down, we want it to drive through. And then you've got to say, well, why didn't this bearish one drive through? Why didn't that carry on? Why did we pull back? Well, it's telling us we need to break a high, and that's not a clear break above this high for me. So I need a clear break above before I can get sell stops on. But if this does drive down, just not my trade to take, guys. But I mean, you could go off the thing is though, this is more of a riskier trade because you're going, your stops are lower. If you're going off the 4 hour alone, then your stops are going to be higher up. Your stops are going to be above 3372 if you're going off the 4 hour. So you technically could get sell stops on now, put your stops there and walk away from it. Alright, but 30 looks okay, like. I do like the 30 actually. Let's see what this 15 does. Nine minutes left of this 30. Is this 30 gonna flip? That would be the 15 as well. If the 15 breaks this, we look to get in. You like the 30. The 30 looks actually pretty nice. Because the 30's broke a high. This 5 does. Oh, okay. Right, I'm going to get a sell stop under this, guys. It's more off the 30, this. I know I said I wanted to break the high, but the 30 has broke a high. So we might not get activated. But I would prefer coming up to break the highs, but I'm going to get sell stops on. Stops are going to be 3350.24. Take price move to break in will be 3329.006. And my target is 3284. So that's just what I'm doing. It's completely up to yourself what you're doing around these areas. This is 15 doing.
Yeah, I can't get in on this one yet because all of my lots are in the as trade at the moment.
Oh, no.
All right.
Oh. Good morning, Andre. Welcome back.
Yeah, good morning, good morning.
We're looking at sells on gold. We just wanted a break of the highs, which we haven't really had on the 30. We have, but I would like a more clear one. 3350. Delete. We want this 30 to flip ideally. If it doesn't flip and it closes bullish, then I'm going to delete and we're going to wait for the break of the high. The issue we've got with this is because my stop, what it is with this trade, technically you would have your stops up here, 3371, okay, off the 4 hour. You'd be safe at that point to come down. However, I'm trying to get an earlier entry with a tighter stops. So it's up to you what you risk, whether you risk fall or what, or you use the same lot but your stops are there. Or you adjust accordingly, basically. So this is seeing if I can get in a bit early, if this is going to be the move. I'm willing to risk the amount I'm risking here to see if this is the move, basically. My music stopped. Music.
Gold, gold, gold. Yeah.
Gold, yeah. That's what I'm saying with technology, man. Just random things stop working.
Mm-hmm. How's the nailer doing today? Oh yeah, we didn't take it, but did it play out?
Well, you would have took the next one.
Okay, yeah.
We'll have a look now. Let's have a look.
I mean, I'm in it. It's almost at my TP, so
Oh,
good
well
so
done.
far.
That's annoying. This Spotify stop working.
Oh, I'll tell you what, boys.
You missed some good chats there, Andre. God, we talking about everything.
Yeah, you did, mate.
Were there any conspiracy theories involved?
Loads.
Yeah, there were plenty of conspiracy theories
Of
involved. Of course there was. I'm here, Andre. I'm here. Of course there was.
Captain Conspiracy's here.
Mm.
Hey, yeah. I'm just not into that.
As soon as Pete mentioned conspiracy theories, I was straight in there. I couldn't help myself. And then I went on like a full-blown hour rant, and no one can fit in a word edgeways.
Well,
Yeah.
saying that, I mean, this is not really conspiracy theory, but I'm looking at buying a generator for when the shit hits the fan.
Oh, Andre, now we're talking.
To be honest,
Oh,
okay,
you're a bunker conspiracy theorist.
no, I don't think there's any conspiracy involved in that. But towards the end of last year in Denmark, and then I'm with the UK, but we got official what do you call it? Not advice, but guidance from the government, from the whatever, to be prepared, for shit, and to be able to sustain yourself for a minimum of 3 days. Right?
Yeah, but I mean that was when half the world was getting all edgy with Putin, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's all
no,
it
but
was. It was just everyone getting edgy. Yeah, we even had a little bit of government advice, not official stuff, but there were sort of articles starting to float around about, is World War III going to happen? Putin this and Putin that, So, which is all just nonsense. So
this is not just a article. This is official, that we get in our digital government mailbox that we have for all things, right?
yeah.
And it's not. I personally think it's realistic.
I mean, to be honest with you, mate, anything's possible if you think about it.
Well, do you know what I think is going to happen, Andre? I think there's going to be
You're going to
long.
open your OnlyFans account up again.
Not again, no, not after last time. There's going to be a long-term grid shutdown. I do. I think there'll be a long-term grid shutdown where you'll be without power for a long duration, maybe a month or something.
Why'd you
like
say
that.
that?
Because they're training for it, and anything they train for tends to happen. So they were training for the pandemic. They were running exercises on it for the pandemic, exactly the same. It happened.
But why? What's the purpose of a long?
I think the purpose for it is to put restrictions and control over the internet. And they can't do it when it's up. They've got to shut it all down, put the restrictions in place. That's what I think is going to happen.
Rots too many people's brains.
OnlyFans does, doesn't it, John? Doesn't it, John?
It does, mate. It does. That's why, that's why I am a messed up individual. I spent too much time on your.
Your bed sheets are messed.
Yeah, they were.
It's a nice cheap generator.
I mean, they still are really. I should take them out underneath the bed and wash them at some point, but it's just, you know, the smell of you, Pete. I can't help it.
Well, I do
Takes me
smell
back to
nice.
the good times.
I do smell good. I do smell good.
I know. I know. Ooh.
I do smell good. Hey, big game on Sunday
Listen.
though, Danny. Chelsea Newcastle
Ugh.
for that spot.
Yeah.
That will be a
Listen,
good
Dan,
decide
once
game.
you've seen Pete's feet pics, you don't go back.
I've seen his arse.
Twice?
It's nicer than his feet.
So have I.
Twice.
Hairy and hobbit looking.
Okay, so there's the 30 close. We broke a high on the 30. The hour has done a top weight. Can the hour drive to the downside? 30 close bearish. I've been activated, so we've got activation on.
Yeah.
Can we get a nice clean pop down now? This is the question. The 15 is sort of broke below, but you've got these areas. It's just an awful area here, guys. Awful area. I would have preferred a clear break of the high. So like I said, this is a riskier trade. This, if you were just taking it off the 4 hour, you'd have your stops higher up. Okay, but what we've looked at is you don't get much of a pullback. So we said, okay, as long as we get a break of a high, then we should be good to drive down to at least these levels. So that's what we've got going on. That's what we're in at the moment.
He's been a bit mischievous.
Let's have a look at Naz then. See what Naz done. Yeah, so Naz would have hit TPs if he took the second trade. No, it wouldn't. He'd still be in it.
No, not yet.
Yeah, you would be.
Not yet, my shagger.
Not yet. Not yet. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure that's going to get hit today.
Could break those highs then.
Oh, it could do actually. What's this? Oh yeah, it could do. Tomorrow's going to be interesting.
Right.
Well, if the daily closes above there, and we don't tap 2313, it should be fairly straightforward tomorrow, really, going off the daily. You only need a little bottom wick. We'd have stops at 20067, and we're just looking at, you could probably market execute, to be honest with you. You don't need much of a bottom wick. And you should be coming to tap 2304. So I'm really hoping we don't tap 2313, and I'm hoping we don't close over 50% of it, so we can grab a trade at least on Naz. A trade we deserve. Trade we deserve.
All the trades.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I will join you in the morning again.
Yeah, no worries, Andrea. I'll see you in the morning, young sir.
In a little bit, fella.
All this for that gold trade.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fingers
Have a good
crossed.
day, bud.
See you later, mate.
See you later, mate.
Oh. Well, guys, I'm going to go and make a cup of tea, and then I'll come back on. We'll see where we're at, and then whether we call it a stream or not. But when I come back, this will be down here smashing. Take partial move to break even. Dan, what am I going to say?
Give us a shout when it.
Give us a shout when we get a take partial. Or to break even. I'll just make a quick brew, guys. I'll be back in a second. When you pop through here, we should get a nice big pop. That's what's nice about it, because it's quite a messy zone on that left. So once you clear it, you should just get a big pop. Oh, no.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Are we looking? Oh, not budged.
Usually on the nail so far, but still quite a way off. We're about halfway to take profit. Not sure about gold because it's probably going the way that it wants, but it should be going.
Well, it's broke the low again.
Good.
6 minutes left for this 15. 5 is flipping now. Can the 5 drive? Minutes left of the hour. Ooh, it's cold when the only issue about living on the beach is the wind. Like, beautiful, but the wind just comes
the
up.
thing is, Pete, I'll keep telling you, you should wear jeans really and not a dress. You know, at least then, you know, your knickers don't end up getting seen by the general public. I mean,
Well, to be honest, what I've done in my backyard, I've created like I've got like a raised bit, so I've put like fake grass, and I've got like a sort of cladded it type. It looks really nice, and in there is a proper, just no wind whatsoever gets there, so it's a proper sun trap. So on a windy day, you can go in there and, you know, go for it. Just to make you aware, guys, I've took this trade on a 50k account. If you're watching it on YouTube, you're wondering what size account I've got because you're looking at my profit. It's on a 50k
I keep
account.
forgetting that you're on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, this one will probably get banned. We've talked about all sorts of dodgy. As soon as you mention like COVID, anything like that, that's it. Poof, gone. But it's all right. The thing is, I said to myself, do you know what? I'm going to start YouTube again, but I'm just going to be more relaxed, like me. Like, I'm just going to be us. How we talk and just chill on the members. We have.
You have to be really like you
Yeah.
have to be transparent, especially with this sort of stuff. You've got to be like you just got to be yourself because that's what draws people in. Like people want to see someone being themselves.
But on YouTube, like last year, that was like my first year streaming really, and we had a proper success. Like our stats showed it, but it was just like you're cautious of what to say because you just think, do you know what, you might offend someone or YouTube might ban the video. But then you just think, do you know what, fuck it, you can't keep everyone happy. You just can't keep everyone happy. And people who want to watch it, they'll watch it. If they don't, no worries. I'm trading myself anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them things, really. Come on, what are you doing? Well, I might leave this with you guys, to be honest with you. What time are we on now? 22:11. If we do get stopped out, I will be looking at the 4 hour. Because if we do get stopped out, we pull back. I will be looking for another entry underneath the 4. But if the 4 hour closes bullish, then I'll be deleting. If that makes sense. Because remember, this 4 can come higher up. We're just looking for a better entry with tighter stops. Now we're in 17 left of this 2 hour. So the 2 hour can do anything. There's a bit of contradiction with the 2. The 2's closed bullish. The 2 can technically do anything. 1 closed bearish. The 3 is still bearish and the 4 is still bearish. The 3 closed bearish as well, and we don't know whether it broke a high, so that's the only little downside to it. We've got 16 minutes. The 15 closed bearish, but it's this little area here. We need to push past this. So if we can get another 15-minute bearish close, that should be a good indication that we should start coming through. Oh yeah, I'll wait for this 15, guys, and then we'll call it a stream, and I'll see you on tomorrow. I
want to when we finish here, I want to have a private chat with you. That's all right, Piggy.
Okay, mate. Yeah, no worries. I'll stay on Discord. Yeah. Just give me a minute to shut everything down on YouTube.
Yeah.
How is this 15 close? Now, if this 15 closes like this, or even bullish but stays below here, technically we've had a nest play. But whether it stays below that, if it closes back in, then technically, unfortunately, we've had a fake out. The downside. But look at that, fake out. Fake out. Ooh. Awful. Where you going, 15? Where you going, 15? But I mean, the thing with it as well, you might just need that break and then still come down. So I'm still in. 15's closed back in there, and you broke the low, so you've got liquidity now to push up if you want to do that. Yeah, we've got contradiction. Okay, we might mess about for a bit here, guys, but we're still valid at the moment. We might mess about, come a bit high before that flip down. I'll be taking partial at 3329. My target's down here. And if we do come and hit stops, I will be looking at a second entry off the 4 hour, because that means the 4 hour would have done a top wick at that point. So I'll be looking at another sell stop underneath the 4. But I'll put it in the trade ideas if I take it. But other than that, I love you and leave you. First trade on stream. Let's see if it's as in this year. First trade on stream this year. Let's see if it's a win. And then I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. See you later, guys.
No worries.
Well, I'll see you in the
See you in a
Discord,
bit.
John.
Bye.